Hello there everyone, my name is Brian Bartel from the Guys Who Play Games, back with some more Kirby's Adventure. But this isn't just any old Brian, it's After the Fact Brian. That's a name I came up with just now because basically my microphone was muted the entire time. So yeah, that's gonna be all now. Faction with the lasers and the bouncing. Yeah, this level was pretty fun, all things considered, though, because angles plus laser equals it does whatever it wants. But you know, as long as you pay attention to everything, then yeah, it's pretty fun. As you can see, I got the hang of it pretty fast, surprisingly. Well, it was a mixture of me getting used to it and also me just getting lucky. Like, I just kept shooting walls and just like, well, it happens, right? This room was weird, like, just a bunch of blocks. Look at all these blocks. They're all blocky. Amazing. Oh, boy. I mean, you know, it's just that. It's blocks. I mean, what else is there to say? It was still fun, but it's also like, wah, you get whacked, and then your thing goes up there, and you're like, no! And it's all laggy when you get it back. By the way, I switched from a Super Nintendo controller to an Xbox controller because I found that the Super Nintendo controller was a bit more slippery in terms of the D-pad going where I want it to. I kept accidentally flying with the Super Nintendo controller. I still do it a little bit with the Xbox controller, but not as often. Which I guess is kind of an advantage. People say the Xbox 360 D-pad sucks, and I'm kind of inclined to agree, but I've gotten so used to it that it doesn't even bother me anymore. And it's actually really useful when you really only want to be pressing one direction at a time. So the Xbox controller, I don't press up by accident all the time. And, yeah, well, there's my reasoning. It's not very good reasoning, but either way. Anyways, here, I was suspicious, because there was totally something up there, and I was like, there's gotta be something there. There's a door. And eventually it got to the point where I just decided to just jump up there and just spam the fireball button, and eventually the block breaks, and everything was like, yeah! And that's the button. By the way, that's one of 2 buttons in this last level. Level 7-1 has a button, and 6 has a button, and that's it. I ended up being very confused by it, too, because I kept thinking, like, oh, I must have missed the button for this level. Nope. No buttons. Only this level has a button on the last level. I gotta stop calling it levels. Like, Kirby, this game has the weird thing that a lot of games don't do, where, like, instead of it being worlds and levels being in the worlds, every world in this game is a level, and there's, like, stages, or, I guess, courses in the level, basically. Like, level 7-1 here. I guess you can kind of think of it like Super Mario Bros. In that sense, where instead of calling it World 7 Level 1, you just say Level 7-1. I'm not sure if that's a thing. But yeah, anyways, this area was pretty fun. This is a boss rush. Basically, it's a bunch of bosses and stuff happens. And I picked Fireball, which just so happened to be really good at killing bosses. Lucky me, hey? Right? Although I did get hit a couple times stupidly like that. Oh, and by the way, this is a lot longer of a boss rush than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like maybe 5 bosses. I think it's like every mini-boss in the game. So there's like 10 or 12 or something like that. That being said, having the Xbox controller plus having a good power-up means that it's not that big of a deal. Because as you can see, Fireball just tears through them. Gives you invincibility frames and does damage, right? So it's pretty good. I don't remember when I lose it. I think I lose it to this guy, actually. Because eventually I'm just like, screw it. Because I get hit, and it's like, oh. And I try to get it, and then I get hit again. And I'm just like, eh. I just get sick of it, so I just spit it back and I'm gonna kill him. Not a good idea, by the way. Fireball was very good. So in the end, I have to fight the rest of the bosses normally. Although that being said, it wasn't that bad. I mean, you got Bonkers here, and he's pretty predictable. You get used to Bonkers because you fight him like 3 times before this. You still miss him a lot because he's a dick, and jumps right after he throws something at you that you can spit back at him. The developers knew what they were doing. You can see I fumble around for a bit before I can actually hit him again. Right? Because you'd be surprised. It's a lot harder to hit him than you'd think. I think I managed to beat him, but I died to the next thing. Or do I die to him and get hit by the next thing? I don't know. I mean, in the end, it's kind of the same thing. Well, it does bring up the fact that checkpoints in this game are pretty lenient. You get a checkpoint pretty much every time you go in a door, so as long as you have a decent amount of lives, you should be able to make yourself get through a level. I pick up hammer here, and I'm thinking to myself, I bet you this is going to be useful. And then like 5 seconds later, I think to myself, I bet this isn't going to be useful, and I just spit it out and shoot it back at this guy. Mostly because I die here. Just get backdropped to infinity. To the great beyond! I don't even remember what I was talking about here. This is a sucky thing, like, after the fact Brian is fun and all, but my original commentary here was actually really good. This always seems to happen, right? I'll get all these boring videos that are terrible and nobody will watch, and then I get the great videos and then my mic was muted, and it's just like, well, I might as well just go ahead and say that my videos are terrible. Whoop whoop. Oh well. This guy, when you actually sit around and try to fight him normally, like, the funny thing is, like, you think, like, oh, I bet you not having a power-up sucks, right? And it's like, not even, like, the bosses are pretty well designed in favor of you not having a power-up. In fact, I think I fight the final boss of the game without a power-up, because I tried using a power-up on him, and I just keep getting my face whacked in, so eventually I'm just like, eh. And then I just say screw it and just start shooting stuff at him. And sometimes you get lucky and you get that, where you kill him in like 2 hits. That was ridiculous, right? That guy didn't even get to do anything. By the way, still going, more fights. Whoop whoop. We got Lion Guy here. Little Lion Guy. This is the guy I was kind of afraid of, because every time I fought this guy before, this guy always gave me trouble for some reason. Even though he really doesn't do anything, right? The problem is that the time you get for shooting at his star is kind of small, because you saw it disappear pretty fast. Luckily, once you get on top of it, you kill him in like 2 hits. And you have that moment when he turns to a fireball, and it's like, whoa, fire lion! And then he dies. Boop, dead. I think that the bosses here actually have less health than they normally would, to make up for the fact that there's only like 2 of them, like a bunch of them in a row. There might be something hidden down there, but it's not a button, I'll tell you that much, because there ain't no buttons, right? I don't know why, but I guess last area, might as well make it very straightforward and easy to play, right? It's fun. I think things really pick up in this last area, because, I don't know, it's just fun to play. This is when the game stops being gimmicky and just starts being straight up with you. It just starts throwing rooms at you with monsters and such. I also found it strange that the mini-boss area was the second area, not one of the last. Because the rest of these are just normal levels, although a bit gimmicky. Well, it's funny how I just said it's not gimmicky. Well, you know what I mean. It's like, it's not trying to be super gimmicky. It's just a bunch of monsters, right? Just look at all those dudes. Sleepy dude everywhere. If you accidentally inhale him, you fall asleep and then they all try to kill you. Oh boy! And then you got here, there's a bunch of dudes with cutter, and you're like, oh man, what do I do about the cutter? You just suck them up, and cutter is pretty useful if you know how to use it. Their cutters go through walls, by the way, which is total bullshit. My cutter can't go through walls. Luckily though, my cutter can go infinitely words. My cutter has infinite distance, as long as you toss it and then turn away and jump over it, right? Like right here. I jump over it, and the witch is dead. Fantastic. Don't have to worry about that at all. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a swig of this iced tea. One last invincibility. You know, the only thing I don't like about invincibility in this game is that you always get just a section with invincibility, right? Like, they just give you invincibility there, and that's it. I don't think they expect you to be able to carry it farther than that room, so... It's like, it feels like it's just kind of redundant. Like, I guess it's just because I really like Crash Bandicoot, the original trilogy system, where like you get invincibility from your power-ups. As long as you keep your power-ups, you eventually get to just go gung-ho and just tear through everything. And areas aren't necessarily designed to think that you're just going to tear through invincible. So sometimes you can do really hard sections easily just by getting some hits beforehand and then getting a mask right before the section. Then you just run through it, right? One of the most infamous levels from Crash Bandicoot 2, Cold Hard Crash. That's a level I can think of where that's really useful, because that level is called Cold Hard Crash for a reason. If you're just trying to beat the level, not bad. If you want to 100% the level, that's a whole nother behemoth. Basically, this is a level where there's like, I think something like 200 boxes. There's a lot of them. Most levels in the game only have around 100, so there's a lot. And there's a death area. You have to get to the death area. It's about, I'd say, halfway through the level, and you have to get to that area without dying at all beforehand. But this isn't just any old death area. Oh no, there's boxes in this death area. So you have to make it all the way to the end to get all the boxes in death area. Then you have to backtrack. And this is all without any checkpoint, because there's no checkpoints in the death area. There's a checkpoint right before it. But if you do it, then you have to do the entire death area and then finish the rest of the area before you get to another checkpoint without dying. Not only that, but there's a box in the bonus area that can be pretty easy to miss because it's kind of like above, it's like off screen. So you can do everything perfectly and then just afterwards, after the fact, realize, oh, I missed the box in the bonus area. So I have to do it all again. If you get the invincibility in the death area though, because there is a mask in the death area, that's pretty useful. Lets you tear through most of it. That makes the level a lot easier. Anyways, you can see here, I'm just tearing through everything with Tornado. Tornado is a really good power in this game, because it lets you move like super fast and it gives you mega invincibility frames. The only thing that sucks is that you can't break those blocks for some reason. I'm not sure why it's like that, but it's probably for balancing. Because I mean, let's face it, if you could break those blocks, that'd be piss easy, right? You wouldn't have to try it all. Just invincibility your way all around the level. Yeah, you can see, like, these, like, I even get confused here, because, like, I'm just thinking to myself, these levels are short, easy, and don't have buttons, right? I mean, I guess they're not easy. Like, this beginning part, by the way, is totally awesome, because it's, like, it totally psychs you out. It's like, oh, God, bunch of crashes, and you're like, okay, that's it, right? Nope, more! And a fourth one! And you're just freaking out, because you know if that guy hits, you're gonna drop dead. And it's like, okay, that's the fourth one. There can't be any more, right? And then there's this one. But then there's one right here that just drops instantly. But for some reason, it doesn't hurt me. I'm assuming that it doesn't hurt me because I guess they don't go across the entire screen for some reason, which confused me because I totally thought they did, but I guess they didn't. But yeah, anyways, wham, 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 and then you use up all your thing, and there you go. And then you kill that guy in one hit, and then you get wheel, and it's like, oh wow. And I'm like, woo! But this area, I died here a lot actually. Because this area is actually kind of interesting. You see those star things? That's actually wind. So the ones that have the big star at the top and the ones that have the big star at the bottom are, you know, the winds going up and down respectively. So I get a little flustered by that, thinking I'm having, you know, a confusing time trying to get through it. And I die a lot from something stupid like that, where I try to inhale and I just fall. Because you fall super fast. And the fireball guy keeps killing me because when he hits you, you burst into flames and you drop to the ground. But obviously, if there isn't ground below you, it ain't good. You die, like right there. I freaked out. I was like, okay, I'm okay. It's cool. It's cool. And then flames, and you're dead. If you fall into the one where the wind's going up, it's not so bad. But the one where the wind's going down, you're dead. You fall too fast to be able to recover. And I just keep getting hit here. I eventually just start getting mad. But then eventually I'm just like, calm down, Brian. Calm down. Just take your time. And then I sit here inhaling for like 30 seconds trying to be funny. But it's not so funny anymore because now it's just like, well, it ain't funny anymore. And then I almost die here and I'm just like, oh god. And I make it over here and he goes into the fight and I'm just like, oh god. And I inhale him though. And from this point on, it's just like easy mode. But the cool thing about the wind is that it actually affects you when you're in fireball mode, and I don't think anything else in the game does that, right? You always go straight. And that's where I figured out that I like freaked out then. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna die again. But thankfully the wind does save you. Now if I remember, oh yes, this area. There's a cannon here, right? And I'm just like, oh, this has gotta lead to a button, right? So I try this thing for like a good, like, I think like 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. But either way, I sit around here for a while, and I keep trying to do that, but I'll spoilers, I'll just say this right now, I never actually successfully get this. Because you have to have, like, basically perfect timing, right? Like, you can watch. I laser it. Oh, I actually don't. I start off with Fireball, right. So, like, I start here, and then I go up, and then up, and I'm just like, oh, but, like, the problem is that, like, the area is so tight in the way Fireball works that you keep getting caught on stuff. So, like, you just can't make it in time. I'm not sure what's in that cannon. I could look up a video, I guess, but there's nothing in there. I think I watched someone made it, but it took them like 10 minutes. So I'm not even disappointed, because I'm not even good at Kirby. I'm surprised I got as close as I did. But yeah, eventually I decided, screw it, and I just used laser. Laser doesn't work either. You really do just have to have like perfect timing, right? There's no way to gimp this. You just gotta be perfect. Yeah, it takes me forever, and eventually I'm just like, eh, and I try laser. I don't know when I try laser, I think it was right here. And then I inhaled them both, I'm like, oh, crap. But then I tried Fireball one last time because of that. But I get stuck on the roof, like, you just get stuck. Like, it's hard. This ain't no easy cannon, right? And I try the laser, and you think, like, oh, maybe it'll work, but you just don't make it. Even with sliding, I wasn't fast enough. And I'm not sure how the intended way to do this is. It might just straight up be, you have to be perfect. Right? I get so close. I think one time I jump in the cannon as it fires, and it doesn't count. Is it right here I do it? Nope. It doesn't help that, like, I've always felt like this game had a little, tiny bit of button lag. So, like, it sometimes felt like you do something, and then it'd take, like, a second for it to actually react. Maybe a second. Not nearly that much, but it did always give me that slight sensation of there being just a couple, like, little milliseconds of delay. More than normal, anyways, because obviously every game's gonna have some sort of delay, because electricity may move at about the speed of light, but the speed of light isn't infinite. What is the speed of light? It's like, I don't actually remember. Well, there's a light year, I know that much. I don't know. Eventually I just decide screw it and I just keep going. I'm not sure when that is. But either way, I never did this. I just couldn't do it. It was ridiculous. I think that's legitimately the hardest thing in the game. Oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I just keep fiddling around. This would be much more entertaining if this wasn't after the fact Brian, by the way. Oy vey. Remember, kids, if you're ever recording something, make sure your mic ain't muted. Because if it is muted, you're gonna look like a dumbass afterwards. Eventually, I think this is, yeah, and this is at the end of the level, too, so it's just like, ah. I feel so dirty just skipping and thinking I missed the button. But it's not a button, it's just a thing. And getting a 3 instead of a 2 is just an insult to injury. And I'm like, oh, I missed it, right? Nope! Door's white, that's 100%. Whatever the heck is in that door ain't a thing. It don't matter one bit. And I just run around. I think... Oh yeah, that's right, I get... I try to get lives, I do a bad job of it. The crane moves a lot faster than it does in the earlier worlds. So as you can see, miss. Like, it doesn't grab it at all. I just miss. Just straight up miss. Just look at that. Terrible. Terrible. And I try to get the big one, and I miss him too, and it's just terrible. I'm just sitting here just being like, God, Brian, you're terrible! I don't even get it all the way to the end. It's just terrible. And then I hear a little sound clip, and I'm like, oh man, I definitely didn't hear that before. But I'm pretty sure I didn't hear it before. That being said, this last level, fun. Very fun. This is one of my favorite, I think this is my favorite level of the game. Right? It's just black and white area. I guess it's kind of short and easy. But I just love the way it looks and the way it feels, right? It's playing the classic Dreamland music. The whole do 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 do. Everything's black and white. It's basically, it's kind of crazy to think that they're doing a throwback when this is an NES game, right? They're doing a throwback to the Game Boy, which to me is just like, holy crap. That's a throwback. They're doing throwbacks before throwbacks are even like a thing. Before there even were anything to throw back. You got this area, and I'm dying, and it's just like, wow, I'm terrible. And then I slide through this cannon, and I'm like, wow, I'm terrible. And then I go into that door, and I'm like, wow, I'm terrible. And then I run here, and I'm like, wow, I'm terrible. And then they give you so many Maxim tomatoes in this level, too. Like, this level could actually probably be hard if it weren't for the fact that they just give you so much stuff, too. Like, I think the idea is that they're trying to, like, pump you up for the boss, right? Because, I'll say this up. The last boss of this game is pretty hard. I'm gonna say that straight up. Like, the rest of this game you can kind of cheese your way through, but the last boss, no way, man. You gotta try real hard to do the boss. It ain't easy. Ugh, I die a few times. I die with the power up, by the way. I have to beat the boss without using a power, because I find it easier, honestly. Like, kind of the funny thing about using just the stars the bosses give off is that it tends to be more damaging, and it also just tends to be more safe because you can do it at a distance, right? So you generally don't have too much trouble if you're gonna do it like that. It's slower, obviously, because you're not constantly hitting it, but you stand more of a chance of just being able to figure out their, you know, their way of movement, their pattern, if you will. By the way, these enemies, I still don't get what the deal with them is, but they're creepy. If you try to inhale them, they freak out and get like a monster face, and if you kill them, they explode like that, right? It's like what the hell? What even are those things? They got this big moon room, right? Just moon blocks everywhere. Mooning all day and night. That's what I'm talking about. Oy vey. More blocks, huh? I actually got stuck here for like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, I can't tell where I'm going. But it's pretty obvious. You gotta go through the stuff that isn't solid. That being said, it's not always obvious what isn't solid. By the way, secret door. I totally knew that was there. And I don't mean that I looked up a guide. I mean, it's just like, it's totally what this game does. There's always things hidden in the black. And there was a moon there, so it's like, it's gotta be something there, right? And there was. It gives me the final button of the game, which is totally kick-ass. I think that's a great button. I don't end it off with a 1, unfortunately, but I do get 3 lives here. That's always nice. And I do end up using all my lives. I don't get a game over. I never get a game over. But I get real close. And yeah, you've been seeing that big penguin face the whole game. So guess who the final boss is? As I slowly fold my parasol. It's the penguin dude! It's King DDD! And man, is he a hard boss. Because I just sit here and I keep hitting him. I didn't even do any damage to him. You can see his health is still at full. I do damage, but he just has so much health it doesn't even show. And I die really fast here without even being able to hurt him. Because, like, his pattern isn't easy. Like, you think, like, oh, it's going to be easy. But, like, he does his thing, right? He punishes you for trying to be aggressive with your powers, right? Like, if you try to turn invincible, he can suck you up, which passes through your invincibility. It basically says, screw you to your invincibility, so you can't just tornado around like a madman. Alright, I get him to about 3/4 of his health, and I just drop dead. And I'm pretty sure from here I win, because it's a lot... Did I get another power up? Oh, that's right. I try to get wheel. And I ended up just being like, ah, and I can't figure out what to do. Because Wheel doesn't hurt him much either, so like... If King Dedede is just a boss, you just want to fight normally, really. If you get good with like Hammer or something, maybe, because Hammer does a lot of damage. But... in terms of what's the easiest, I'd say straight up fighting him without a power is the easiest, because... you can keep your distance, because King Dedede is aggressive. He loves diving at you and trying to whack you a bunch. Although once you figure out how he operates, the fight is actually a lot easier than you would think. Like, you'll see. Right, like I try to wheel through him, it does nothing. That also does nothing. Like, it's doing damage. I'm like, okay, I'm invincible. And then he sucks me up, and I'm just like, oh, not invincible. And I try wheeling him some more, and it still doesn't do any damage. So I'm just like, oh my god. And like, I'm not sure if he's coded to suck you up every time, but he sucks me up a lot every time I try to invincibilize him. And eventually I'm just like, eh, and I just do that, and I just start spitting stars at him, because it's a lot easier when you do it like this. I do get a lot more wax, but once I do that, I'm pretty sure I only get hit once more for the rest of the fight, so... I definitely find it much easier to sit around and wait for him to do his thing. Because he actually gives off a lot of stars. And the big thing that really helps is that hammer attack he does, he never hits you. He will only hit you if you run towards him. There's the last hit, because I got stuck there, not... Meanwhile, I'm just like, nah, it's bullshit! Rah, rah, rah. But really, it's my fault for getting cornered like that in the first place. It's not a smart thing. You don't want to ever get cornered in video games. It's bad. I get another star. I think you have to hit him like 3 more times at this point. It's the old 3-point wonder. I don't do very good though. I miss a lot of stars here because I keep facing the wrong direction. Let's just say that I don't think I'll ever be good at Kirby. I don't know, I just have a hard time with the controls. Which is kind of funny, considering the controls are really not much different from any other platformer. Just that you can fly if you press up. Right? Here it comes, the final hit! Oh, never mind. He turns into a balloon one more time. And he dives into me, and I'm like, oh god, I have 1 health. And I'm just sitting here thinking, oh, I'm totally dead. But then the second he brings his hammer, I'm just like, oh, never mind. And he's dead. And that's the game, everybody. That's Kirby's Adventure. Amazing game, isn't it? Level 8, the Fountain of Dreams. So I'm just sitting here thinking, why is there an 8th level? There's nothing here. King Dedede just freaking out. It's just like, no, don't do it. Kirby's just like, screw you, Dedede. And then he tosses the wand in there. Yeah, that's not the final boss. The final boss is actually a big ball of stars. And King Dedede shoots you into the sky after him. And this boss fight is actually super sweet. Like, it's a shoot 'em up, right? You can start shooting stuff at him. And it takes me a while to figure out his pattern, because it's not the most clearest thing. Like, you think, like, he has a pattern to him, but he really doesn't, because, like, there's the one attack he does, you just saw it, where he shoots 4 stars at you. Sometimes those stars track you, and there's no tell whether they actually track you or not. It's completely random. And if it's not random, then it's based on his health, because I think it's actually based on how much health he has left. Because later into the fight, he always uses a tracking move. But early on, he always does the 4 stars in a straight line move. So, like, right here, you'll see him pull up 4 stars, and these ones track me. And I'm just like, oh, God! Because I didn't expect them to just fly at me. And then I get hit 1 more time there, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh, God, I'm going to die, aren't I? I get really close to killing him, and then he does the 4 stars move, and I'm just like, and dead. I just couldn't react in time. I still have another life, though. And thankfully, this is like Donkey Kong Country, where 0 is your last life. Or the number in the bottom right isn't your current lives, it's how many extra lives you have. So, that's always helpful to know. See, you can see that early on, it's always straight lines. I get hit 2 more times there really fast. I'm just thinking to myself, oh, this isn't it. I'm not going to do it. But I'm pretty sure I managed to bring it back and managed to not get hit anymore for the rest of the... Okay, never mind. I get hit again there. I'm pretty sure this is the attempt where I win, though. Nonetheless, I managed to do pretty good for the rest of the fight. Like, you can see I'm dodging it pretty well. And then when he brings up the 4 stars again, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, these ones are going to track me, aren't they? So I don't dodge it because I'm a dumbass. And then I get hit again there, and I'm just like, oh, I'm done. But I know for a fact. I know it. I'm definitely not wrong. There's no way. I definitely don't die. And I go, woo, and I dodge it. I'm just like, yes! And I whack him up, and boom, dead. And it just happens that right after I kill him, I see the ground. I'm just like, oh, God. Because that fight has a time limit, by the way. If you touch the ground before you finish him off, you die. Instant death. So, even though there's no time limit, the fact that you're slowly falling the whole time is kind of the whole signifying thing. By the way, music for this last boss, kick ass. Awesome. They really went all out with this game. But this last boss, by the way, that ball thing I found pretty hard. But this guy, the final wave, like you fight him on this guy, he has the butt chin thing. He's actually, I'm not sure if he's supposed to be, but I found him really easy. Like, I managed to finish him off almost with 1 hit left here. I do die, spoilers. But after that, I pretty much do it without getting hit again because it's just, I don't know. This last little thing is just easy. Right, he's already down to half health. I'm pretty sure I only died because of this, where I'm just like, oh, and I jump when he dives at me. Because I'm freaking out, not knowing what to do. And then from here on, it's basically easy mode, population, me. I get hit again there, and I'm like, oh, God. I'm just chastising myself for playing so sloppily. But yeah, this guy takes a lot of damage from your Star Rod, and he's easy, honestly. Like, he's already half health again. And if you go the right, if you know what he's gonna do, you can like hit him before he even gets to do anything, like right there. If he does that thing where he goes whoosh across the screen kinda, but like sideways and goes straight sideways, then yeah, you can pretty much just wait for him to get over to the other side and just whack him up a bunch. Like right here, where he'll go the other side of the screen, and then he reveals his vulnerable side to the opposite side. So I forget if he takes 1 more hit or takes 2 more hits. I think he takes 2 more hits. I do kind of get hit there, unfortunately, so I didn't do as good as I could have, but still. I think actually, too, not only that, but if you hit him directly with the Star Rod, I think it does extra damage, so you can kill him in like 3 hits if you hit him directly. Because the Star Rod does its damage, and the rod it shoots out also does damage, so... But yeah, anyways, that's it. That's the game. That was the final boss. The rest is just watching theatrics, like the moon blowing up. Which totally would completely destroy the tides, and like the tides would be super low forever, and everyone would drown in the lack of ocean. Because that makes sense. And yeah, I'm not sure if the first Kirby game does this, but yeah. This game makes it like King DD ain't no villain. He's just doing things. And they even to say that in the text. King DDD was trying to help. And he did help. And then Kirby came along and just, you know, pooped on him. King DDD foiled the nightmare. By hiding the Star Rod from him. That's really slow text. DDD helped Kirby beat the nightmare. They really beat it into your head that DDD helped. But yeah, that's it. That's the game. What are my thoughts in this game? Fun. Very fun. I get why people play the Kirby games now. Because they aren't really hard. Other than like a couple bosses. The bosses are the hard stuff. The levels themselves are easy. But that being said, looking around for secrets and stuff. And just like... just running through and using the power-ups. It's fun. Really makes you feel... energized. Woo! Wow! But yeah, without a doubt, I'm glad I enjoyed this game. That's my first Kirby game. And I enjoyed it. And now there's just pretty stars everywhere. Whee! And then the credits play, and the credits is just fighting these bosses with unorthodox powers. Like, this guy uses throw, which is like totally kick-ass. Like, it's super awesome to see someone use throw against Wispy Woods. And then he goes to this guy, and what is he gonna use? He uses stone, of all things. He crushes him, just sits there being invincible for a while. And he stones him some more. And he fight this. I was like, what's he gonna use? He uses fireball against the sun, because fire is gonna blow up that sun. Although I think technically it might, because if you consume all the oxygen faster, then it's gonna die out faster, right? It's kind of a funny way of how it works. Tornado on Krakow, by the way, is totally not unorthodox. It makes perfect sense. Because you rise up and whack him while you're invincible. Like, this guy. I don't even know what his name is. I'm not sure if you ever see this guy again in another Kirby game, but he's piss easy. Like, this is exactly what I did. I just used Parasol on him. I just kept whacking. Like, he never even tries to attack you. Now, Meta Knight, if I remember Meta Knight, he was hard. Meta Knight was very hard. He has this weird thing where every time you hit him, he does the same effect, I'm pretty sure, when you get hit. So, that's kind of a funny thing. And this guy uses high jump against King DD, which is like... It kind of makes sense, because DDD does that, yeah, where he just jumps up. But yeah, that's it. The end. You can see all these nice effects. It says the end, and you got bye-bye down there with the hand and the, you know, the wavy effect signifying motion. And then it tells you it unlocks an extra game. You wanna know what extra game is? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but from what I saw, extra game is basically, it's the same game, but you only have 3 hits instead of 6. So you have half health. And that's when I was just like, nope. And anyways, yeah. See you guys later.